She walked into her home that day, heart full of love, unaware that her entire world was about to shatter. As she gently pushed open the bedroom door, her breath caught in her throat. There, on the very bed she once dreamed of building a life on, lay her newly wedded husband, tangled in the arms of her own mother. For a moment, she couldn't move. Her legs refused to carry her. Her heart pounded so violently it felt like it would tear through her chest. Her mind screamed, trying to understand the horror before her eyes, but her body was frozen in disbelief. Then, like a dam breaking, she let out a piercing scream, a cry so deep it came from her soul. She turned and fled the room, tears pouring down her face like a river with no end. How could the woman who gave her life, the woman who raised her, nurtured her, gave her everything she owned, be the one to steal the one thing meant to be hers alone, her husband? She crumbled to the floor in the hallway, her hands trembling, her body shaking as if the earth itself had betrayed her. 6 months. That's all it took to destroy her marriage. Just half a year ago, she wore white, walked down the aisle with joy in her eyes. Her mother had sponsored the wedding, paid for everything, even gifted them a beautiful house. And now this betrayal. Was it all a lie? Were they truly lovers behind her back? Is the woman she's called mother all her life truly her own blood? What darkness had crept into her home and stolen her peace? And most of all, what will she do next? Find out as this heart-wrenching story unfolds. But before we dive deeper into this shocking tale, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it with someone, and leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Turn on your notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable story like this one. The day Annabelle got married to James was like a fairy tale dipped in gold and laced with envy from every corner of the town. The sky had opened up in clear blue elegance, the expensive canopies glittered in royal white and gold, the scent of exotic flowers wafted across the garden ceremony, and everywhere you turned, people whispered how lucky James was to marry a woman like Annabelle. But they didn't know the truth. Annabelle's mother, Sugar, had paid for everything. Sugar was known for her great taste of living. She had the finest clothes, wine, and drove the most exotic of cars. Annabelle, I see you've got an eye for the finest of things, like your mother, Sugar said to Annabelle during the wedding ceremony. Sugar strongly implied that James was the finest amongst men in recent time. Annabelle chuckled, then gave a loud laughter. You know your daughter now. James whispered to Annabelle, you are the most beautiful amongst women. Looking at your mother, one can say you got all your beauty from her. James meant nothing wrong by his words, nor did he intend to pass any inappropriate message of lusting after Sugar, his new bride's mother. James smiled innocently and danced happily with Annabelle in his arms all through the ceremony. After all, it was his day. But Annabelle smiled with a poisoned heart from the comment James made earlier to her about her getting her beauty from her mother. In her mind, she said to herself, how can my husband lust after my own mother? There was no hiding it. Sugar was flamboyant, wealthy, commanding. A woman who lived like every day was her last chance to outshine the world. She had no husband. He died in an accident when Annabelle was just 3. Since then, Sugar raised her daughter like a queen in waiting, spoiling her with every possible comfort. Sugar didn't just fund the wedding, she bought them a whole house. A spacious duplex in the heart of the town, fully furnished, scented candles in every room, and a refrigerator that beeped when you opened it for too long. James, on the other hand, was not from money. He was a software engineer at a private tech firm. Respectable, quiet, a little too reserved for Sugar's taste. But he loved Annabelle deeply. He had seen beyond the glitz, into her laughter, her soft voice when she was vulnerable. They dated for 2 years before marriage, and even though Sugar didn't hide her judgment of his average salary, she tolerated him for Annabelle's sake. The first 6 months of their marriage were blissful. James woke up early, made breakfast in bed for Annabelle, who would laugh and throw a pillow at him. They'd dance in the kitchen to old highlife music. She would video their silly moments and post them on Instagram. But Instagram isn't real life. Slowly, the cracks began to show. "You're not a man like Juliet's husband," she said one day, her arms crossed in the middle of the living room, looking at him like a stranger. James surprisingly turned towards her. Confused and speechless was his current state. It did not sound anything like the Annabelle he married. "You don't even buy me small things. Look at what Juliet posted. Her man took her to Dubai for her birthday. You gave me a mug and socks," she said further with so much disrespect that James opened up his mouth in silence, obviously knocked out of speech. James was stunned. "It was a personalized mug with your face and my vows on it. I stayed up making it." "Because you're broke," she cut him off bitterly. "My mother warned me." That was the first real fight. James thought to himself, every marriage sure does have one or two quarrels every now and then. It never crossed his mind what was to happen next. The intimacy dwindled. Then it vanished. What seemed like a perfect romance that would never see the ugliness of day was now history. Sugar moved in 3 weeks after the fight, claiming she had health issues and needed to be close to Annabelle. But from the first night, she strutted around the house like she owned it. She drank wine in a silk robe, crossed her legs in James' favorite seat, and called him Jimmy Boy. James tried to stay away, giving them space, trying to repair his marriage. But every night, Annabelle would roll away from him in bed. She stopped touching him. No hugs. No kisses. Just cold, icy silence. Sugar noticed. And one evening, while Annabelle was away at a friend's bridal shower, Sugar knocked on James' door in a short satin nightgown and asked to talk. James was uncomfortable, but she insisted it was about Annabelle. "She's becoming her father," Sugar sighed, lying beside him on the bed. "Stubborn. But cold." James shook his head. "I'm still trying. I really am." "You deserve better," she whispered. "Better than being a man with no voice in his own home." That night, they didn't touch. But they laughed. They shared secrets. And the following week, it became a habit. Sugar would slip into his room late at night. Sometimes she brought wine. Sometimes she just talked. And James, weakened by rejection and loneliness, let her stay. Then came the night everything changed. Annabelle had come home early from an event she had lied about attending. She walked upstairs to their room and stopped cold at the door. There they were, James and Sugar, still half-dressed, lying on the bed, laughing like teenagers in love. "What the hell is this?" she screamed. Sugar froze. James sprang up, confused, trying to explain. "Annabelle! Annabelle, wait! It's not what you think!" Annabelle bolted out of the house. James ran after her barefoot, pleading, gasping. "We didn't do anything. We just talked. I swear to God." But she saw the open robe, the intimacy, the closeness. And she didn't believe a word. She cried for days. She didn't leave the house, didn't answer calls, barely ate. But strangely, she didn't move out either. She became calmer, quiet. She started dressing better, smiling more, working from home, cooking for James, even trying to sit close again. James, confused, wondered if she had forgiven him. Then, 2 weeks later, a text came in on James' phone while he was in the shower. Annabelle picked it up to check. "Sugar, I miss the way you used to hold me, the way you filled me inside. My body still remembers, Jimmy boy." Everything shattered again. Annabelle stared at the message, fingers trembling, a darkness overtaking her vision. When James came out of the bathroom, she threw the phone at his chest. "You're a pig. You're a disgusting pig." No, I didn't reply that. I swear. I've been ignoring her since that night." "You've been enjoying her since that night," she spat, eyes blazing. "You filthy animal." Now they're on the verge of divorce. James still begs. "Don't let her win. I made a mistake, but not the one you think." I never touched her, not really. I was just lonely. Annabelle is silent. 1,000 thoughts run through her mind, but her heart feels heavy. She wants to leave him. But Sugar, her mother, is still her financial lifeline. And that's the real dilemma. How do you cut off the mother who gave you everything but ruined your marriage? How do you confront the woman who raised you but slept with your man? Annabelle sits in her room, staring at her reflection. Her lawyer is waiting downstairs with the divorce papers. James is outside pacing. Sugar, somewhere in Abuja now, has stopped calling, probably feeling no guilt. And Annabelle wonders, is revenge enough? Is money worth this pain? Can she live under the roof of a mother who stole her man? Should she expose her mother to her social circle? Ruin her? Or walk away silently, build her own life without Sugar's influence, without James? Dear viewer, what should Annabelle do to her mother? Leave your advice for her in the comments section.